Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north, and today this is a fairly quick one. It's kind of a test really, of a little bit of an update, a little bit of a test on, well, I don't know if you probably have noticed, if you've been watching any of my videos, you'll have seen that just occasionally either the picture completely freezes and it stays like that for 2 or 3 minutes, the audio carries on, and it is rather irritating. And also sometimes I get like a pixelation. I even get like ghostly apparitions of little bits of the footage that I've cut out. I've tried all sorts of things. I've checked the software, I've done it with some new software, I'm still getting it. I've tried various ways of getting the footage off my iPhone. It's fine in the raw, but when it goes onto the software, I keep getting these frames dropped. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, after a little bit of research, I believe that I can actually film in 4K and 30 frames per second. I'll just turn the fan off, that's just kicked in. And I also understand that if I use a video app rather than the camera app that comes with the iPhone, that should make a difference. So this is a test. This is being shot in 4K, 30 frames per second, and let's see if this makes any difference. So Happy New Year to everybody, and I just thought I would, while I was doing this little bit of a test, I would update you on my forthcoming plans for the greenhouse. So I've got lots and lots of repotting to do, a few on a list to repot, and a few things that will crop up as I work through through the forthcoming months. You may have seen my repot of this large Cattleya here, and I'm going to keep my eye on that. I understand that from various people that it would be a good idea to spray it with magnesium and calcium, some CalMag. Now, being the old cynic that I am, it's not that, I know this can come across sometimes as I'm being the know-it-all. I'm not at all. I'm not at all a know-it-all. What I like to do is I take the information on, and I like to kind of cross-reference it and check there's some science behind it. I did train in science. I think perhaps that's my background. I'm not certainly at the forefront of scientific research, but I trained in the area of science, and I just fall back to wanting to double check and make sure that this folklore, as it is, that gets passed down through various people, various growers who, are certainly not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. Everybody's giving their take on something, their opinion on something. I just like to check. That's all there is to it. Just check. Now, my first checks on Foliar feed. Google is one of these media that the more saturated it gets, the more that you find that it's very difficult to verify what you are reading. It's the old fake news thing, isn't it? Fake orchid news. So how do you know that this is something that is true? So if you have a look for Foliar feed, what you'll find is Wikipedia tends to come to the top of search results, and Wikipedia is absolutely fantastic resource, but it's crowd, it's a crowd, how can I put it, I can't think of the word. I keep wanting to say crowd-funded. It's not crowd-funded, it's crowd-sourced, that's the word. In other words, anybody can jump on there and edit it, which very often leads to true results, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes these results, it's something that kind of gets accepted, and people can accept things that aren't always true or backed by rigorous scientific research. So I had a look. Foliar feed. Do plants actually take in calcium and magnesium through their leaves? Well, again, If you look at Wikipedia, it tells you that they do, and they do actually cite some research way back to the 50s. Difficult to find anything from then, and the research that they cite was actually based on like a nuclear project, and they based it on some kind of test to see whether the plants would take in radioactivity. And based on that, they decided that plants did indeed take nutrients in. Well, I found some other scientific research which completely refuted this and said that actually the ability for plants to take in nutrients through their leaves is quite different depending on the type of plant. And this guy, who was a professor, had done some research to say that the thicker, waxier the leaves, i.e. Cattleyas, don't actually take much in the way of, if anything, in the way of macronutrients. If they do take anything in, it's more likely to be micronutrients. Now, again, I'm not taking that as gospel. That might not be true either. I don't know. And this is the whole point I'm trying to make, really, that we take these things as gospel truth, and then we all do it, and it might not be true. So it's just worth keeping a questioning open mind on these things. That's what I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. So as I'm just kind of showing you around here, a few little things. The Oncidium Twinkle Cinnamon, oops, just knocking a plant over, is coming to an end now. Lots and lots of dead leaves down there, look, dead flowers, sorry. So I want to possibly mount this. I've noticed Roger's had a lot of success with his mounts. And over here you'll see some rather nicely grained, nicely patterned driftwood. Now, like everybody else, on New Year, we all think it's a good idea to go out for a walk. That's what we did. And we went to a local beach, Formby Beach, in fact, if anybody's familiar with it. It's near Liverpool, just off the coast of Liverpool. Formby Point it's known as locally. And I picked up these nice pieces of driftwood. So I thought, right, well, that'll be really nice for the twinkle. I think this one here, this one might be nice for the twinkle once it's dried out and the sand's fallen off it. So if anybody's got any ideas, what might I purchase to go on these mounts? What goes particularly nicely? I mean, they're not huge, but what goes particularly nicely on these? No idea what kind of wood it is. Well, I think they look quite nice. They certainly don't look nicer than my first attempt, which was a bit of fence wood. It was on this Bulbophyllum Elizabeth and Buckleberry up here. This one, just a little, just a piece of fencing which doesn't look particularly attractive. So I think these pieces of driftwood are going to look much nicer. So if I can get myself something to go on those, maybe a good idea might be to buy on Spicy Exotics. You think you can get 3 Tolumnias for about £32, something like that. I've always fancied the Tolumnias, been very envious of Roger's Tolumnias. So yes, we might do that. So what was I going to tell you? Yes, of course, I was going to tell you what my plans are. So first off, we've said repot that. This I don't think needs a repot. This is my Masdevallia Ignea, and it's absolutely bursting with budding flower spikes. I don't know if you can see there. Budding as in, not budding as in we've got some buds on, but budding as in about to come. Some new leaves, some flower spikes. I don't know why they do so well. Masdevallia's here. Well, I do, because it's cool and it's pretty shady. That's probably why. This one needs a repot as well. That's still its original media. So once that's over, although that seems to be somewhere, I think there's a new spike. So there it is. There's another new spike there coming on it. That's been in bloom for ages. Need to get more of those. So my plans for 2020. I need more plants, of course. Who doesn't? Who doesn't need more plants? I need more orchids, I need more carnivorous plants, I need more everything really. I would like more on the upper story, along these rills here, these braces along there. They need some more things kind of dangling from them. And I want this partition setting up. So partition which is going to go from the end of this bench here, so from there, like going across there. So it'll give me like a 4 foot by 10 foot and a 10 foot by 10 foot. On the other side of this partition, so that's kind of in between these benches here. Sorry if it's a little bit, I need a gimbal. A gimbal would, I believe, make this better for you, not quite as wobbly, but they're about £100, a little bit too much for me at the moment. Bearing in mind I've only, 121 subscribers yet, so we'll say when I hit 500 I'll buy myself a gimbal if I get to that stage. So along there, where the partition's going to go, I would like a wire mesh. So that will give me like a wall. So I'd have like a wall there and the same on that side. And I'm going to put some green wire mesh, like similar to the netting that I've got at the back there. That is actually just like plastic netting. But if I get the wire mesh, that'll give me at least 2 walls to hang things from. And I think just breaking up the greenhouse as well will make it look better, make it look fuller, give me more space to actually dangle things from. So that is probably the biggest of the plans. So lots of repots, buy new plants. I'll try and buy something every month if I can. And I'll just show you down here, even from the last time, the last video on these have grown. These growths in the middle, look at that. That's bigger than it was, certainly that one is. I found a slug on here last night, just a little tiny one on there and a great big one down there in the pot. So yeah, partition is probably the main thing. Bougainvillea, if I zoom in on it, it might look like there's a lot more blooms, but they look quite nice, don't they? If you can imagine the whole thing full of bloom, that will be beautiful. I think this one's doing a leaf jump at the moment. That's the biggest leaf jump I've had, so you can see there that's going to be a much bigger leaf, that new one. This is a Nepenthes Ventracosa. Finally, nice, really green, shiny growth there. It's taking quite a long time for this to take off, but it's I think it was just in too shady a spot. It seems much better there. And finally, my Pinguicula, got a couple of flowers on there, lots of bugs on it, and even this Burrageara is really beginning to grow strongly. Things happening. It's great to see. I can't wait till winter's over. At least we've passed the equinox now. The Cephalotus. Now I repotted that, and that's January 2018. I think it's probably all right for another year yet. Plumeria, I am losing these leaves slowly. The other Plumeria, it's just hanging on to its one last remaining leaf, but I'm not bothered. It's okay because we've got the new ones there ready to come on each of these growths here. So get back to 2020. What else was I going to do? Buy new plants, do the partitions, do lots of repots, do lots of mounts, maybe a little bit more on the ferns. I could do with some new streps, some different varieties. I have my Masdevallia cuttings over here, and they're going to be dotted around as well. This one here is Black-Eyed Susan, Thungbergia Brownie. It was really nice in summer, but it just does not like these temperatures. This was a flower, it was about to come, but I think that's going to fall off. It's just suffering from, I mean, it did have some red spider mite that it caught from a Brugmansia. It keeps getting little buds on it, but it's just, they keep dropping off because it's just too cold. That's looking really good. Tradescantia, all one plant. Look at the variety on it. You know, we've got total green leaves, we've got leaves with mainly green and a little bit of cream and white, a bit of pink, and we've got some that are just pink, all on one plant. It's doing well, that, since I put it in its own pot. Another Cattleya down there that wants a repot. That's been in there. Let's have a look. Can't do it. It's that tightly packed in. I can't get it out. It does say on there. I repotted it a few times, and no wonder with all those roots on it. See, can't quite see. But the roots, as you can see, coming out through the holes, and I think I might repot that. I mean, there's still space in there for that new growth there that you can see there. Never flowered for me, but it is very small. I've just left it here to remind me that that's my next job. I'm going to repot that. Burrageara still looking great. So what are we up to? 16 minutes. That's probably enough. I know I do tend to waffle. So, okay, we'll leave it at that. So they're my plans at the moment. Things might change. I do write these things down, but I find when you write goals and plans down, you know, what do they say? If you want to plan something, you know, I've got to get this wrong. Oh, I remember. I recall it. If you want to give God a laugh, tell him your plans. So that's the maxim I go off. So I do plan these things, but I know I'm going to change them. I absolutely know for sure they will be changed. Again, look, Tradescantia is going crazy. These cuttings that are taken, they're fine now. Look at them, they're growing quite strongly. I'm quite pleased. This is an Dendrobium, silly me, Stardust Firebird. This is one that Roger chucked out. I think it produced a lot of kikis but didn't flower. This one, I think that's a keiki, isn't it? Keiki, going off there. But it's got loads of little kind of nubbins down there. So that's going to do something. The new canes, I can't see any nubbins on that yet, but I watered them and they've not dried out yet. I'm going to leave them now. I'll probably leave them till about March time because they need a little bit of a rest. Even though this one's still in bloom, they're going over. So yes, that's it, I think. So we'll leave it at that. So I think that's a good test for me to see whether I get some pixelation or some problems with my picture, with my video footage. That's Gaya, Nepenthes Gaya. Oh, and my newly popped Nepenthes Burkei, looking really good. I took a great photo of this, so if you look in the description, you'll see a link to my Instagram page, and a really good photo of that came out on it. So please do zip over to my Instagram and follow me on there. I mean, you know, why not? You might as well. Looking brill. Try and ignore that one on the right. But it's nice to see these pop, because when they have pop, you know that then they're happy. Must be happy. That one's about to, or just about popped. And on the Nepenthes Gaya over here, there was one, I can't remember which one it was, because obviously once they're all popped, they all look the same. But these, one of them hadn't, but they're all open now, so quite happy with that. So okay, we'll leave it at that. So thanks for joining me today, and please give us a comment, even if it's just to say hi. It's nice to hear from people. It makes me think that, you know, I'm not sending these videos out into the ether and nobody's actually watching them. Drop us a like. Nelly Isla Burrageara, Nelly Isla. New flowers on it. These ones are fading now. Again, it just keeps producing spike after spike after spike. Surely this is the last one now. And for now, we shall see you on the next one. Bye.